Strowman. All in favor? Unanimous. Order number 845, an ordinance to amend an agreement for the development of a joint county industrial and business park, 2016 park of Dillon and Marlboro County, so to enlarge the park. Second reading.
That's, again, the second reading for the multi-county park that's located in Dillon County that we get revenue from. And we just need to expand a piece of that park so that a new project can get in there. And that's what this is all about. They want to expand a piece of it so that we can do a project in there. And again, that helps Marlboro County as well because we get 30% of all that revenue.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 845.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I do. So you said we get 30%.
Yes.
What will Marlboro County use the park? What will be the activities for Marlboro County in
So
that park?
the industrial park is on I-95. As soon as you get in Dillon County, I think it's exit 189 with the Marlboro, with the Harbor Freight is. All that area is a multi-county industrial park. All three counties, Marion County, Dillon County, and Marlboro County, each get 30% of the revenue from whatever activity goes in that park. Because they took three counties in order to get a lot of the revenue from the state to build the park. It's located in Dillon County, but their economic development generally puts things in there, and all three counties receive money from it. And 10% of the 10% remaining goes back into the park itself. So that's with that multi-county industrial park. Now usually, and it's one of the first true ones in South Carolina, because usually when we do multi-county parks, we'll have, for instance, we do a agreement with another county, and we get 99%, and they get 1% just to make it multi-county. We're actually a true multi-county park, which is why that huge park was able to get so much money from the state, because it's a true multi-county park where we equally share the revenue. And so that's why that park is, and it's a really nice park because the state spent a lot of money with the roads and making sure that that park is like all together. So that's what, we don't really do anything there. It's something that all three of our counties make sure that we can keep the park where it needs to be, and we put industry in there that we all benefit from.
Thank you for the explanation.
Okay. Can I get a motion, please? Motion carried? Okay, that's right, my bad. Motion been carried already, we just had discussion back then. All in favor? Okay. New business. Authorizing moving $100,000 from the assigned fund balance for capital improvement plan to a separate fund for the purpose of completing renovation to the plasma building for the purpose of moving the voter registration office into the plaza building.
So when we met with the finance committee, we talked about the fact that there's a possibility that we can move. I think it was with the recreation committee. We talked about
Yes.
the ability to move that because that voter registration office, as we did in the election year, this is before I got here, there was a report by
The state?
the state, I can't remember which department, but they came and they reported that we need to have better storage of machines, the ballots, and we know it's an election year, presidential election year. So with those, we need to make sure that our security is where it needs to be. That voter registration office was deemed by the state not to be so adequate. I mean, I think they said it was okay, but it wasn't really where they wanted it to be for the security of those voting machines and ballots and that kind of thing. What we talked about, we never had any motion, no movement on that plaza building. We got the plaza building. I know I heard discussion about redoing the air conditioning, redoing some of the back walls. When I first got here, I asked DT to look at what do we need to do, and really, it just needs some air conditioning units, a couple of things need to happen. The roof has already been fixed. The leak from the roof has leaked down the back wall, and so it's not a lot that we need to do in that building. It's just really fixing the AC unit, the HVAC, and then getting some cosmetic work done. And $100,000 we think is sufficient to do that kind of work in there so that we can move the voter registration where it has its own office, its own storage, in a place that's secure. We can secure it properly, and at the same time, we can move Parks and Recreation into the voter registration building. Because it's sufficient for that. They'll have actual locations where they can tell people this is the Parks and Recreation building. At the same time, the library can utilize that space, because we know the library does a lot of activities, and that usage by Parks and Recreation does hamper them with some of the activities that they're trying to do. And, you know, honestly, the library has been a very well-run organization of this county, and we want to make sure we get them the room that they need as well in that library. So this move will benefit 3 departments. It will benefit the voter registration, Parks and Recreation, and the county library. And that's why we want to go ahead and get that done, especially before the election. And we actually have primaries coming up in June, so it really needs to kind of happen now if we're going to do something about that.
Question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
It was the Plaza building, it was closed. Did you check, have anyone identified any mold in that building?
Yeah, we went through there. Like I said, I sent our maintenance director in there, DT, and he told me that was what was needed. He mentioned that there was some damage on the wall, but it was not, the leakage was done. They can do whatever move they need to do. I mean, if it does have mold, that would probably be the cost of what he gave me. But I don't have an itemized cost of everything. I just know that he told me about the HVAC, he told me about the cosmetic work, and I'm sure he included that in there if there was mold in there.
And leaking in the roof?
No, the roof is not leaking anymore right now.
Okay.
The roof has been fixed, but what has been damaged from the leakage is what we're talking about fixing now. Just the cosmetic work of fixing those walls on that back side of the roof was leaking the most.
And then did you pay attention to the carpet that was in there?
Yeah, that would be removed. That would be removed.
I just know that those were some issues.
Right.
I personally know that those were some issues, and I'm
Right.
just asking that.
Right, and Mr. Turner, he's been in there, and I actually sent him back since we had a meeting to look at that, and he confirmed that it was able to be done with that.
Mr. Chairman, for Ms. Schroeder, did, the $100,000 from assigned fund balance, that was already, we approved that in the actual capital, it's just transfers, or?
No, that wasn't approved in any sort of way or fashion. That's money that when we talked about it, we said we would bring it to council and ask if we could get that approved.
But what is it, is that a total amount in the, for the fund balance? That's never been, we hadn't talked about it for capital improvement, that's nothing for capital improvement. Huh?
500,000.
500,000 was approved in that account. Okay, that's what I knew.
Mr. Clyburn, while we're on the voter registration office, it's brought to my attention too, you know, we've already had 2 elections. We've got the potential to have 5 more elections. If you look at 2 primaries plus possibility of, depending on the candidates and stuff, possibility of 2 runoffs, and then your general election and over, so that's 5 more elections. The part-time help at the voter registration office is pretty much, she's at her limit. And I think that's something I think you need to
I agree with that.
discuss. You need to discuss with them, because I think it was originally planned that she would be working regular normal hours, but it hadn't turned out the way. And now we're looking at, we're going to have a total of could have 7 elections this year. So that's something that we need to address with the director.
We need to address that, and from my understanding, you know, they were supposed to be sending something from the state, because they get money from the state as well.
Right.
To subsidize, and they're supposed to be sending something there to help with that subsidization to get more from the state. You know, if the council wants to approve, again, it's the council's decision, and it's something we can consider, but the council wants to vote to appropriate more money for that help, then that's something you have to talk about, that's something you have to decide.
Well, I think it's just something we need to look at. I think that from talking with them the other day, because of the way that the extending the early voting times to 6 o'clock, you know, and they were voting possibly today in Columbia to change it to 7 o'clock. That's going to be even more and more hours and stuff. I talked with Senator Williams this morning about it, you know, and his plan is possibly small counties that we not extend it to past 6 o'clock, because they told me that really between 5 o'clock and 6, they had very seldom have anybody even come in on early voting. But anyway, it's just something I think we need to look at. I think they are at their limit with the part-time help, and they're going to need some help. And I do know they get an appropriation from the state, but the county does have a certain limit that we put in it, and we're getting pretty close to that limit.
Right, we are. And to mention about the times of voting, I want the public to know that's not something we decide here locally. That's something they vote on in Columbia as far as the voting time. So have an issue with that, that's something we can take a look at, representatives and senators, but as it stands, we do have those voting times that are there, and we need to accommodate them. And we also need to accommodate the safety of the election, and the safety of, and vitality of the machines, everything that we have associated with that election will come into question if something happens in the building that's not secured properly, or if something happens. We know we have storms all the time. If something happens, it's going to be a question, and something's going to be, it's going to be a big ugly mess if we don't do something about that.
Do you know when the state, when they'll know anything from the state on what they can help them with?
I'm not sure. I just got an email from her concerning that, and I haven't heard anything back from her.
And all that would possibly be is help, to help with
That would be
running
to
the
help
office.
that would be to help with the labor, with
Okay,
the
okay.
actual.
Right. It wouldn't be anything to help us with this.
It wouldn't be anything to help
Right,
with this.
right.
Now, one thing I will say about that, about help with that, and I was hesitant to bring it up because it's not promised, but we are looking at doing a USDA grant. And that grant is, as we know, 55% match up to $50,000, which means something around $92,000 would get the max $50,000. And we're looking at that. I'm scheduled to speak back with USDA because the question is now, if we start those renovations after we send an application, can we still get reimbursed? Because there is some leeway there. You can send an application, get everything approved, and then start the work. I gotta find out when that time period is. Because if that's the case, then, as we know, we double the effect of our money if we can do that. So that's what we're looking at now. So I'll be meeting with USDA to try to find out if we can maximize that.
If we've already approved 500,000 for the capital.
Right, now that was done in what year?
That was probably 22.
Yeah, that was done in 2000.
Right,
I'm not
so,
sure.
but if that's already allocated in the fund balance, to come out of the fund balance,
So that's
right?
the question that council needs to.
Yeah, that's what he just brought up, right?
Right, if it's already been approved for 500,000, can we draw from that 500,000, or was that 500,000 allocated to something else?
You're requesting an allocation
From that 500,000, so that's what we need to consider this.
So if that's the case, when we look at that $7.6 million, have we already subtracted that
Yeah,
500,000
if you look
from
at-
that?
Already in the.
Right, if you look at, if you look at item 1, step 1, it talks about the fund balance net position. It says assign 500,000, so it already subtracts it.
All right, so it's already subtracted.
Right.
All right, so that 7.6 is just a real number
Yes.
for us to still be
That's a
available
real
to
number,
us.
yes,
All right, so,
with that subtracted.
but I'm real comfortable at getting that money from that allocation. And we've already had one company to come in and do a inspection on that building. They looked at the repairs for the building, they looked at the wiring for the building, they looked at the plumbing for the building, they looked at the HVAC system for the building, and that's what they came up with. They even looked for mold, like Ms. Lawson is concerned about. And, you know, they gave us a report back on that, and then they gave us the final report of what it would cost to replace the HVAC system. You know, the wires were in pretty good shape and everything, so I'm good to go because June is here, and we need to go ahead and
And I don't
move
think
on
that,
this.
I don't think it's gonna take long to get those things fixed. We just gotta bid it out if it needs to be bidded out. Hopefully that won't take that long of a process, but it being March now, beginning to middle of March, if we can get that taken care of now, then through April and May, we can probably get those things worked out.
Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and do something. It's been long enough with the voter
Yeah,
registration.
the more we wait, the longer it's gonna,
Right.
it'll deteriorate.
Do we have anything else allocated for that 500,000, any other projects? I mean, I know we had projects, but is there anything that we wasn't doing?
We did approve $75,000 to the town client for their project.
Out of that 500,000.
Out of the 500,000, so, that's
Okay.
the only commitment that's been made.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we authorize the $100,000 from the assigned fund balance for this project.
Any more discussion?
Now, I'd just like to remind Mr. Kleiman, the early voting starts May 27th too, so we don't
Right,
have,
yeah, you're right.
we don't have the whole month of May, yeah.
Right.
All in favor? Thank you. Mr. Clyburn done touched on this also, B, authorizing the Recreation Department move from the library into the old voter registration building once the voter registration building had been moved, had been renovated and moved in.
So normally this would have to come in front of council to move a department somewhere. However, we're in the library and we are moving from department and moving departments around. It's more than one department.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the council, once we get the plaza building, operable, that the council is comfortable with making all those movements at once. And that's why it's in here.
Want a motion on it?
So I got a
Do
question.
you want a motion on it?
Sure.
I'll move to make a motion on it.
Second.
Motion been moved and second. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I want one question. So, with the recreation department, with the move from the library to where the voter registration is now, all right, that's one move. Are we gonna request them that they move again once, for the project on, Broad Street?
Right, so it leaves a lot of possibilities for us for that project on Broad Street.
Okay,
It leaves us the possibility of actually moving that there, but if it works out where we are, then that whole Broad Street, we can actually do a much bigger project there, depending on the money we get.
Okay.
And that's something that I'm sure the citizens would like, something to be there, and not just a
Office
little bit.
space.
I mean, they want something that they know, that when they come here, they say, okay, we have that now.
okay.
And so that would leave a lot of opportunity for us to really revisit. Are we gonna actually put the railroad department there, which we discussed before, on that right half where the bingo was.
Right.
And on the left half, put some music facilities there. So that leaves some opening, what we can do. But I do know that voter registration office is big enough to handle that park and recreation, including some storage.
Okay. A motion been made and was second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Closing out of old new business, appointment to boards and commission, we have any? An
I
appointment?
do want to mention one thing on
Yes, sir.
appointments to boards and commissions. We talked about doing an agricultural commission.
Right.
We do want to involve our agricultural community. They have reached out to some of the council, they reached out to me about the interest in being a part of what we're doing in Marlboro County as far as that farmer's market. That farmer's market is there. It's a nice farmer's market, but I think it's underutilized, and they feel the same way. They could help with promotion and actually making sure that thing is what it needs to be. And also, and again, one of the things I hate to say, because you don't know how these things turn out, but hopefully the establishment of a Marlboro County Agricultural Fair. And, that's something that's a huge undertaking. We couldn't do it this fall, but hopefully by next fall, and this commission can help us a lot greatly. So just consider that. Of course, it has to be done by ordinance, but I just thought this was the right time to bring up the fact that we had talked about it, and we had considered what would that look like. And so I speak to all of you, if you have any type of recommendations, any type of ideas about that, let me know what you think about that, because again, it has to go through ordinance, and it has to be established through this council, but it's something I think if we can make sure they have a focus and a role, it would be very beneficial to all of us.
Mr. Chairman, I've had quite a few farmers contact me, small produce farmers, and they've been having some meetings out there about table rent and about the voucher program possibly losing some status, and so they do a lot of business with vouchers for people to be able to local to come there. So I think that would be a big thing, is to be able to stay involved in that and have some say in what's going on there.
So I know we have another ordinance we need to get you with economic development ordinance, but we're going to try to bring something to you, something preliminary, for the next meeting. Well, actually before the next meeting, so you can look at it. But in the meantime, I will be talking to some of you, whatever ideas you may have. All of you, if you have any ideas, let me know what you think about that, so we can bring something to you that you can consider.
I do like to apologize to my council members. I have the Subcommittees already named and written out and appropriated, but I have not brought it to our clerk of council. I do apologize, but she will be getting somebody an email with everybody, the boards and appointments for our subcommittee this weekday, Tuesday, yeah, this week. So, Ms. Rivers, I'll be sending you something tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, have the floor, please.
Yes, ma'am.
You touched on what I was gonna ask, because you mentioned that in an earlier meeting that we were gonna have a committee to review ordinance. Is that right?
Right,
Uh-huh. My reason for asking that is that I would like for us to also, all the members, I don't know whether any of you have it, but our personnel and policy manual, I would like for us to look at that because the council approved this on July the 14th, 2020. And in that approval, there's a few things that I looked at in here that stuck out with me. And one of the main things that stuck out with me is on page 42. 42 talks about take-home county vehicles. And in that paragraph, it's just a 5.5 little line paragraph. I do feel like it needs to be developed more with more specifics. And I would like, and I know this is one thing that I have noticed. I can talk about something, but now I'm having to say that I'm going to start offering up a motion for something because, and yes, I do know that when y'all sit here silent, if no one second, I know it's gonna stay dead. I know that. So I'm really gonna ask that I can offer up a motion that we at least review our manual, our policy and procedure manual is concerning the take-home vehicles. And I would like very much to let that be part of a meeting that we at least discuss it. Also asking staff to get copies of other vehicle policies from around the other counties to see what can we do to change some of our policies. You may decide not to want to change it, but I really think we need to review those policies.
When council members get your packet in executive session, you'll actually see in part 4 that there is already on there a discussion about part of the policy, not quite that, but related to that with our DUI policy. So we'll discuss that.
Also on the agenda, you see we have workshop scheduled for March 28th, and so we can go in more detail on doing the workshop time. But we have 4 hours to discuss anything that could be of concern, a major concern. We're gonna move on to, so we can go to the executive session in a little bit, but Ms. Lawson, you got anything you need to say?
Thank you because I wasn't really quite finished, but I do want to say that should a motion be put on the floor concerning possibility of looking at those or no?
I thought can we just do that in the workshop? We have, during the workshop, we have 4 hours to work on any particular thing. Could you want to put it for a motion for everybody to read it? What are your motion?
My concern and my motion would be that we make sure that this specific procedure be put as far as that we would like to take a look at this, take a look at that take-home vehicle policy and have our staff look at some other counties' vehicle policy so we can act on that and put some policies in place for Marlboro County. Marlboro County may decide not to have it, but there are counties with some detailed things in their policy. And again, I know when you sit here and not say anything, the motion will die if I offer up a motion.
If I'm not mistaken, and I hope the lawyer can rectify and correct the problem, if it was not on the original agenda, we cannot add nothing in the middle of the agenda to be voted on.
That was my fault.
Right, that's what you got to be on the agenda. It has to be on the agenda beforehand. Okay. Okay. All right. So
see, that's the thing.
What?
That's the thing. It is hard to get something on the agenda. That's the thing, because when I bring it up to say put it on the agenda, to bring it up, to put it on the agenda and ask that you put it on the agenda committee, when the committee meets, no one responds. And that's what has me a little upset, because it's hard to get things to be put on the agenda. I do know FOIA says that it has to be 24 hours. I know that before things will be put on the agenda. I am very troubled by the fact that it is hard for me to get items placed on the agenda.
But Ms. Lawson, if you know you need 24 hours to put on the agenda, why would you bring it up at the council meeting? If you knew already ahead of time that you had to have 24 hours to put on the agenda. Anyway, let's say, being that that is not done, and we would discuss it on a workshop, where everybody can get a copy, Mr. Clyber and clerk of the council, you can make sure everybody get a copy of the paperwork with Ms. Lawson have about the vehicle. We have it in our packet for the workshop on the 28th, and we can discuss it at length. You did have the floor, Ms. Lawson.
I yield the floor back to you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just to reiterate, Ms. Lawson, I think we really do need to take a look at not just that policy, but all policy. That policy probably hadn't been updated in centuries.
Right,
So we really need to look
2020 is
at
a long time for an employee policy to have not been updated. And so, you know, it's been 4 years, well, 3.5 years, and right now, all of our departments in the midst of doing their organizational charts for each department. They're doing all of their job descriptions. They're doing all of their, you know, everything that they need to do for that department. And once we get that, of course, council gets that, and then we can look at doing the whole employee policy. I think if we're going to do something in there, we need to do the whole thing, because there are some other issues, one in particular that I am going to bring up in executive session, that we look at, and I'm just going to ask, I was going to ask council to consider some things that you go in that policy to be more specific in there. So that's something we'll talk about.
and not only county policies, but council policies as well, that
Right.
we need to take a look at as well.
Right. And that would be standard procedure, protocol, policies, meetings, you know, that kind of thing. It needs to be looked at. And even if we already have, some of those things are statute driven. If they are statute driven, then we need to make sure that if we don't put it in the policy, we at least make sure every council person is just reminded of a lot of those different things that are statute related. And then also those things that we come up with a policy on our own. So yes, I mean, I'm all for that, making sure that everything is defined so that people know what they are supposed to do or can and cannot do. So.
Okay. Okay, there's no appointment to boards or commission. We'll move on to acceptance of bids. We have none. We'll go to reports. Finance report, Mr. West Parks.
Before you get to the finance report, I want you to, everyone to make sure, since we're talking about statutes and regulations, make sure that you fill out your ethics reports. You don't want a violation for not filling it out, and it's supposed to be by the 15th, or 30th, once you fill it out. Make sure you fill out that statement on economic interest, because without that, if you do it late, they're paying $5,000 person. Make sure each councilman, I filed mine as an appointed official. I filed mine a few weeks ago, but and I know some of you have already filed it. Make sure you're doing it, especially those of you who are running for re-election. Make sure you file those things, okay?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. We have before you the report for the month ending February 28th, 2024. At that point, revenues totaled $8,904,274 in comparison to $10,381,639 for the 8 months ending February 28th, 2023. General fund expenditures through February 29th, 2024 totaled $9,286,822 of a $14,233,618 budget, or 65.25% of budget year to date. General fund expenditures totaled $8,953,191 for the same 8 months period ended February 28, 2023. In conclusion, revenues posted are lower in comparison to last year because of delays in collection of fee in lieu income, various property tax reimbursements from South Carolina Department of Revenue, property tax valuation reimbursement, fee in lieu, depreciation reimbursement, and homestead reimbursement. When the effect of the delay is taken into account, the revenues are on target and consistent with prior budget. Expenditures are up, but in comparison to prior years, but consistent with the budget year to date. So I don't know if you have any questions regarding the financial report. We're glad to address those.
I have, not in exactly that one, but in the other ARPA fund monies, on page, I have it highlighted, under the, on page 202 of it.
Okay. That's on the project report, yes.
Yeah, just with the golf course capital,
Right.
just a question, whenever it says, the bid award to urban irrigation, pro potency controls, has that been awarded?
Let's see.
Page 202 is what page?
Okay, and that's under the,
It's 075, 005, 05000.
okay.
It's got the irrigation system.
That had been, I mean, we had,
Which irrigation, I mean, because the last irrigation system we had, they come in here and it was gonna be upgraded, I mean,
right,
we never awarded a bid, so, that, whenever I see that, I was
okay.
I was questioning, I need to,
Where we are with that.
Yeah, if we
because
could-
It could be that we actually, identified that as being, allocated to that set of funds. I'll just confirm that we haven't actually done the work yet.
yeah, but if we allocated the funds, we still have to vote on the, open of a bid, correct?
Absolutely.
I just don't remember awarding a bid to those two things. I knew there was a problem with
With, oh,
one
you're
of
talking
the-
with the irrigation system.
with the irrigation system, so
Right.
whenever I read it, it said bid awarded, I just don't remember awarding a
that should-
bid to
that
that,
should
so
not
that's a
have
question
been-
that I'd like some clarification on.
That's a good point.
Let me clarify that, and I'll make sure that that's that question. Any other questions regarding the projects?
I do, sir. Page 195, this is concerning the project, 195 and 197.
Okay,
One has to do with with the late Paul Wallace Authority. Mr. Blair made a presentation, and he stated that he wanted to be sure that those funds were allocated, and we told him yes.
yes,
So on page 197, I tend to bring this up all the time and no one makes a response. But the funds in this particular, on this particular session with the Broad Street, I've brought this up 7 times and I know I have. But each time when I ask the question about the fact that are we going to reallocate those funds, because in this package, that's set to be demolished for those food trucks. And each time, no one seems to want to say where we're gonna do, because there's a process about that.
I'll be glad to make prepare a motion for you for the next month's council meeting to reallocate the remaining funds to, I'm guessing would be to the aquatic center. If that would be the,
No, that's not, no, let me bring you back to that. No, sir, it has to do with that Broad Street project
correct,
and that building on Broad Street.
correct.
And the question is that the idea that we kept getting stuck in here about what we're going to do with those funds. And when a few community people came with a petition as for us to say that we would like to make sure that we don't tear that building down. And we decided too that we need to look at some other proposed monies for that. But yet, I keep bringing to the council and to you, Mr. Parks, and you, Mr. Clyburn, there's a process in doing that. And that process is that you have to write a letter to say you're gonna reallocate those funds, because when you presented that package in 2021, when y'all did this as a group, those monies are, that is when you, because when you give that report in 2025, that has, it's gonna state that we demolishing and gonna have food trucks there.
Mr. Parks, I don't think, you said reallocated to the aquatic center. I think we want that money still allocated to the Broad Street project, but not for the demolition. So maybe wording it where we are allocating that money to the Broad Street project, but not in this particular fashion.
But the process as far as,
I'll determine what we need to do in terms of the American Rescue Plan and procedurally, and I'll bring that back to you at, the next month's meeting.
thank you.
Anybody got anything else for Mr. Parks? Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Clyburn.
Before I start the administrative report, I do want to recognize the sheriff, Sheriff O'Neill. He did have something he wanted to report on the council.
Thank you, Mr. Clark, Chairman, Council. I got a phone call yesterday from the mayor of Clio, and they had an issue now in Clio. They disbanded, in so many words, their police department. And as a result, we've been asked to render services for them. We've been able to talk with the mayor. He's agreed that on certain hours, that people like us to work approximately 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And we come to an agreement on the cost, and we done an MOU, we both signed it, so starting probably in the morning with Martha, and we will start providing services for our town client
For what time to what time?
from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., 6 days a week. Now, we will answer calls, any call that comes in, as always. And during that particular time, they will get full services from the sheriff's office.
Mr. Sheriff, how long do you think that would be, or have you, is there a timeline on it?
I don't know, it's hard to say.
We're having some difficulties that we're rebuilding. We've got some people coming in the next 2 weeks. We've got an officer coming back from the academy in 2.5 weeks certified, so I hope not long.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's short-term or long-term, that's kind of, you're hoping short-term, yeah.
I would say short term, but to be safe, I would say we'll just wait and see. We are prepared to be there for a while, if need be. And even when he gets the officer back in, we will continue to provide services if they need it.
What services are you providing? Traffic and patrol?
We'll do from 5 to 11, we'll check properties, we'll respond to all the calls and anything that's needed.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Traffic.
Investigations, whatever needed during that particular period of time.
Sure, would that in turn cause overtime for your staff?
It
Tell
will
us,
be
get
overtime,
it, yeah.
but the town of Cloud has agreed to
So the
pay
town
that.
of Clio
Yes,
will
ma'am.
take care of that.
What we'll do is, we'll take in the time, we'll put in the overtime, we'll turn it into HR. HR will then calculate what that cost is and send it to the city, to the town of Cloud, and we'll be reimbursed for it.
So that's basically
ma'am.
what I really needed to know.
Yes, ma'am.
So Clio will be reimbursing you,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Yes, that's been
Thank you.
agreed with.
Next, I would like to call our Economic Development Director, Mr. O'Neill. He's going to give his monthly, from this point on, monthly economic development report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of council. I'm happy to say that we have 4 significant economic development project announcements tomorrow. We also have 5 manufacturing projects that is looking at our spec building. Project Wishbone, I want to talk about a few of those projects. Project Wishbone, which is $400 million and 600 jobs. We also have Project Roar, which is 275,300,000 jobs. Project Mobile, which is 150,200,000 jobs. Project Double Delight, which is 80,100,000 jobs. We currently have 30 active economic development projects that is looking at relocating or locating to Marlboro County or expanding in Marlboro County. I have an upcoming mission recruitment trip with the state in Canada. We'll be focused on the Mohawk building, which, by the way, we're getting a lot of activity on. We'll also focus on the spec building. I'm also happy to report that POPS USA here in Marlboro County continues to improve. They've improved productivity, reduced scrap, and decreased downtime. They have the second production line in operation right now, and so they have more capacity for additional operation there at POPS. We also have started discussions with hospital providers about a new hospital here. We've identified several different locations, and so those discussions are going very well. We actually have more discussions tomorrow as well. Recently applied for a $230,000 NISA grant. That's a one-to-one match on that NISA grant. We're going to be focused on road improvements in the Marlboro County Industrial Park and also building improvements as well for the spec building. Also, we have an upcoming job fair on April 26, 2024 at the Community Center. The event will be advertised in the paper next week and also on Facebook as well. Also, we received will receive a $250,000 grant for Project Purity. And so the way that works, that's actually a grant from the state. The grant will be sent to the county, and then the project will be reimbursed for their costs at the project, on the project. And so that concludes my economic development update. Any questions or comments?
You just stated 1,200 jobs. Is that absolute jobs, or are you just saying you just have that interest?
We have that project activity.
Okay.
What I can say is that what will be announced tomorrow is over $250 million in new investment in Marlboro County. There's 4 new industries that will be here and new jobs that will be here. I can tell you this, Councilman Strobin, that shortly after the announcement tomorrow, we do have 3 more announcements.
You do have what? I'm sorry.
To follow. So right now, as we all know, we're hungry for jobs. We're fighting hard for the citizens to make things happen. And fortunately, we're getting results. Companies want to be here. They want to provide jobs to our community. And we're happy to announce it. So there's a lot of activities going on, and I just encourage everybody to stay tuned for more jobs, more investment, more announcements, directly following the announcements, the 4 announcements tomorrow.
Who will be making the announcement tomorrow?
So we will have the companies here, the media will be here. What will happen is, before lunchtime, both of the projects the press releases will go out, and then I will address the media along with the company representatives.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much the activity.
Before 12.
Tomorrow.
Before 12.
As we get into some of the larger announcements, and we get closer to that $100 million mark of projects that are announced, the ceremonies become more formal.
Okay.
We also will, as we've done with the Aquatic Center, as activity continues, we will have announcements and ceremonies around groundbreakings and things of that nature. But typically, as we move closer to much larger announcements, then you'll start seeing other folks come down, participate in formal ceremonies like the governor, the Secretary of Commerce, and things of that nature. But the announcements tomorrow will be the company, myself, and the media.
And Mr. McNeil, just want to say you made a great report. I wish that we could have gotten a written copy, a hard copy of that report. But the statement you just made concerning announcements, as the employers, I just feel too that you didn't publicly tell us that we were invited. Are we invited?
Yes.
So, see, that's the kind of stuff I'm saying. If I go home tonight, I will say, I don't know whether I'm supposed to come or not. So, when these announcements are being made, I would definitely appreciate enough notice. But I know tonight you had me to tell us, I realize that. But I don't want to feel like I'm left out of things when I'm not told exactly in a timely manner or not. I'm not aiming this at you, but I'm just going to give you this as a reference for anything that I see that we have a lot going on. But I definitely would like to be invited, and I just feel like if you make it plain to me that I'm invited, I'll know for sure that I'm invited. So what time is this announcement, please?
The first press release will probably go out about 10 a.m., so between 10 and 12 we'll be here.
Here at this building?
In this building.
Okay.
Yes, but just to go on record, the public is invited. It is a public event, and all announcements that we make in economic development, all of the public is invited. The media is invited.
Just, Mr. McNeil, just,
Thank you.
if I may, just to piggyback on Ms. Lawson's, but it still seems like we're last minute. I found out Friday morning, just by happening to stop and asking somebody about something else. I found out about the groundbreaking of the pool. I had no idea, nothing about the aquatic center. I didn't know it was going. If I hadn't stopped and asked really about fixing something else, I didn't know anything about it. Just to, and if I hadn't stopped by there, groundbreaking would have took place and everything, and I had no knowledge whatsoever. And so, as a council member, I do want to be invited. I do think we need some. We have plenty of staff. I think we've got a marketing director. We have clerk of council. We have plenty of people that can notify us when everything's going on. Unfortunately, finding out at 8 o'clock on a Friday morning, I was not able to attend at all. And so, like I said, it does make you feel left out. So if the public was invited tomorrow, somebody had to let them know.
Right.
I've worked with you on some projects, so I know just from communication, but there's been no electronic communication to come out whatsoever. So we need to improve on that. That's not just directed to you. Mr. Clyburn, if you can help get that stuff out, and like I said, I even mentioned it, our clerk today, whenever things get out, council needs to know about it in a time frame where we can make sure we attend, because it is important for job announcements, for announcements and different things. So we do need to be. Excuse me, and I know the state sets a lot of those things when announcements takes place and all that, but we need a little more heads up.
Thank you, Mr. Steen, for knowing how I feel. Because on Friday, I really felt bad. I really felt really bad Friday about the fact that the first opportunity for a groundbreaking took place in this county. And I'm not going to elaborate too much, but it left me feeling really bad because I had a prior engagement, but I had it out there a long time. But I would have made some arrangement at maybe 12 o'clock or a different time. I would have made some arrangements, but I'm a person of my word. When I commit to something and I knew that I was sponsoring that, I felt obligated to be there with the clerk or probate judge, bringing that thing to the community. But to be told with an email that we're going to have a groundbreaking, then within an hour I see it in the newspaper, and no contact with us whatsoever for both of you, any of you. I just felt really, I just wanted to say that left me feeling very appalled, disgusted, and I'm still feeling it, but I'm asking God to help me calm down because I know how I've been feeling. So I need to put that on record too, that I want to be notified in ample time. And I want to feel like that transparency is there so I can feel like I can be a part of these. That was my first opportunity to wear my little hard hat and have my shovel, and I was not a part of it the first time. And as much as we talked about that Thomas, I didn't even get invited to the Thomasville thing. So I do feel pretty bad about that. It happened before this administrator, and then now it's happened again. And I'm gonna ask that it never happen again, if possible, please. So thank you for listening, and thank you for understanding my concern and my frustration. Thank you very much.
Mr. Manil, just out of curiosity, how many people was at the groundbreaking?
I'm not sure the exact number, but maybe about 40.
That was about 75 or so.
75.
Altogether.
And we were emailed the information for the groundbreaking, but I just want to applaud, Ms. McNeil, for the work that you put in since you came into this county. The work with Pop USA, a lot of stuff behind the scenes that nobody probably will ever, know that you're doing. But we appreciate the amount of work that you've done in such a short, time to at least get us on the radar of some of these top companies to come and bring some jobs to Marlboro County. Not only jobs, but revenue. We talked about the kids with recreation. That's how we grow our recreation program. We get these jobs in, and we get these industries in here, and we, allow them to contribute to, our community. So what you're doing does not go unnoticed. We've been praying hard that the economic gods, look down on Marlboro County, and I think we have the people in place to be able to at least attract the attention of Marlboro County so we can improve, some of the things that are going on around here. But I can reiterate that, we do want to be notified of different things that's going on in the county, just so we can, if somebody asks me about something, I can let them know. But we did receive the email in regards to the groundbreaking. It was a good groundbreaking. We had a nice attendance. I think 5 of our council members, were at the groundbreaking ceremony, but we do want to be involved in those announcements.
And I'd like to say, I don't know where the disconnect is, but we discussed the date of the groundbreaking in executive session. We discussed it all over the place. I received emails, let me know when the groundbreaking was. I mean, they communicated to us. I don't know whether, where you all were or what your email is doing.
Well, I just said I did not get an email. So
we did.
If I did not get an email,
I'm not saying that you didn't.
Well,
I'm saying I did.
Okay.
I know we emails were sent out. I don't know what's going on with the email, but a lot of people were informed, and I'm sorry that it wasn't. But we actually talked about it, so I don't know what to say. But once again, you've done a wonderful job, and the groundbreaking was wonderful. Keep up the good work. I guess we can improve on communication, as best we can, but, the proper protocol was followed, at least for the groundbreaking.
Again, I would say, for me, it was lack of proper communication, and no disrespect to you, please. I thank you for what you did, but it was lack of proper communication for me.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. Everybody got anything from Mr. McNeil?
I just want to thank you for getting some going for us. We talked, and you've come and you finally doing something we can see, and that's what makes a difference. And I thank you for your time and everything and what you're doing.
They put a light on you, didn't they? The light shine, the light on you, my friend. You got a light on you now.
The Lord has spoken.
All right, so I do have a few items to report. First of all, this Saturday, the city-county trash pickup event. Now, that was advertised by the city, but they did include us to work with them. And next, the inmate assistance program. I did get the report, and Mr. McNeil, Sheriff McNeil, I should say, not this guy. And we talked about the fact that inmates have been requested, through the state. And the thing about that inmate assistance program, they have to want to, come here. They have to put Marlboro County Detention Center as where they want to be based on the jobs that we have available for them. And so we put out general labor and those kind of things. And so it's going to take some time. And also, with the local judges, they have to actually sentence a certain way for us to be able to use them. So, and they got to know that we're going to have them here. And again, inmates are the ones that choose. And so we do have to treat them, not only for that, just in general, we got to treat them respectfully and make sure that they are taken care of in that regard. So once the word gets out that we get a few of them coming and they say, okay, well, we got to work, we get time off and we're good, and it's not anything crazy, then we get a lot more want to come to Marlboro County. It just takes breaking that in for everyone to come to Marlboro County. The next announcement, again, I want to announce that we have our county rodeo, April 12th and 13th. There will be a full-page ad in the back cover of the Marlboro Herald, and we're going to also purchase some ads on social media sites, and we're going to, post it on our website, etc., and our social media. So we're going to have that April the 12th and 13th. It's going to be at $9.99 Fayetteville Road Extension, which is the field right next to the football field in Marlboro County, right behind Popcorn. So again, we look forward to that.
Mr. Clyburn,
Yes.
if I may, I thought that's what you told me last time. So I actually rode by there last week. There's a big mud hole right at the entrance, and that whole field is covered with cotton holes.
Right.
I
Out there. So the thing about
I just seen that, and
we saw that.
I know some rodeo. The rodeo things. I just want to make sure that this is a good one. Whenever I rode by there the last time, there's a lot of cotton trash out there.
One thing that we have
So-
that we're going to do is in the areas that we're going to park, we're looking at putting some crushing around those areas so at least the cars can park. But now the areas where the dirt is going to be, the Thomas Linton, the guy that's doing the rodeo, he went and looked at the field. He said, it's perfect for him. The location, the size, and actually the ground itself. He went out there and looked at everything. So, and I can give you some information.
Yeah, I just looked at it. I just want to, we need to.
Yeah, we consider all of that, the grounds. Typically what they typically do is get an area that has grass and they'll pull up the grass.
Right.
But with this area, they don't have to pull up the grass. They can do what they need to do to either pack it or in certain areas we put the crushers around. But all that is being considered and taken care of. Now, all we do for us as a county, all we do is we open the area, we charge for the vendors, they take care of the grounds, they take care of the entertainment and everything else within that, so.
Lights, bathroom, and all that's for the rodeo people.
Sit down.
The lights, bathroom, all that's for rodeo people.
No, we take care of the grounds as far as hosting it. We take care of the bathrooms, we take care of the lighting. They take care of the actual bleachers and the stadium that it goes in. They take care of the animals. They take care of the animals to be overnight or whatever. They take care of all of that. They do that, and the entertainment and the people and that kind of stuff.
What about the parking? There's no parking out there. They certainly can't go in that field.
Well, there is parking there. There's parking. As I stated, there will be some crushed around added to that area where there's be parking. But see, we don't need but for the actual. It's 22 acres. All we need is 6 acres for the grounds itself for the rodeo, and the rest of it we're going to go out there and mark out the parking. He's actually sending us a diagram of based on what we have. He sent us a diagram of where everything should lay as far as the parking. But he assured there was enough area, and then we also have parking in certain areas. We talked to high school, and we'll be able to use some areas over there, and people. It'll be enough. There'll be enough parking. Also, next thing I want to announce, we're aiming for this summer to start our, with the county public schools, Marlboro County Public Schools, our internship program, which we will get high school seniors and let them shadow different positions within the county. It gives us a chance, first of all, to do a partnership with Marlboro County Schools and work with them. Second of all, it allows high school seniors to, and those students to get a higher awareness of, and interest in local government. You know, I think one of the problems we have here is not enough of the younger people even understand the process of local government and how it works, operations, and we want to give at least some of those students a chance to experience that. So we're looking at getting that internship program coordinated with Marlboro County Public Schools. And again, if you have any suggestions or anything to offer on that, we're all ears. The next thing I wanted to mention was C.W. Love Park renovations. You know, as I told you all, this was back in October, and I have the timelines for you, that we did have some vandalized, some vandals, tear up pretty good. But the bathrooms, the lighting, and the fencing have been fixed from that vandalism. And we're just waiting on that brick sign to be fixed. And that should be the next couple of weeks. I also wanted to mention Brightsville Park, some of the upgrades there. Their new benches for the dugouts will be put in this week. And fencing on the road where you come right out of the park, they have a lot of events out there where they have kids kind of in that front area, like with fireworks and stuff. And they've had kids right on the street. No one's been hurt yet, but they've had some near tragedies. But kids run out that road. We put that fencing there, and we're also looking at, we've already ordered road signage that goes. I went there for the first time. I saw the park after I passed it, but the sign I looked for is just a rectangular sign, diamond-shaped sign. It only has a seesaw on it. You know it's a park, you don't know what that is. I had no idea what that was. I just passed right on by. But we're going to put a sign that says Brightsville Park ahead, and with children playing ahead, caution. So that'll be something that will hopefully help the safety out there. And there's some other things that we're going to eventually look at over there. That field gets torn up pretty bad. People with ATVs, the four-wheelers, and they're not really supposed to be on that park doing that, but they don't care. They go out there anyway. And so we're going to look at that, how to alleviate that. And then the driveway going in, I know for a few feet, 16 feet or so, it needs to be paved, because if you're trying to leave out of that park and cars are coming over that hill, either direction, you really can't see them, and you got to speed out of there. And so we want to try to fix that. And when you speed out of there with rocks, it kind of kicks rocks everywhere and slides your car. And it happened to me actually when I left them over there, trying to leave out of there, and I had to kind of hit the gas a little bit, and the rocks kind of went flying everywhere. And it's just something that, with that public park, and it does get usage. It's not a park that just sitting there. It gets usage, and we need to make sure we take care of that as well. I know we talk about parks a lot in here today, but that's one of them. I don't want to forget Brightsville Park as well. But that's it. If any questions, I'll be glad to entertain.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clyburn. We recognize our council members. Mr. Odom, you would like to go first?
Excuse me, I asked that I had a report update that I want to share, but I didn't want that to be a part of my
I thought that you want that to be a part of your
no, sir,
citizen request.
because it's something different.
Okay, all
I
right.
just want to update
Go ahead,
council
man.
about
You got the
this
floor.
meeting.
You got the floor.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the floor. Just want to say that I did attend this meeting, at our COG meeting last night, and there was a lot of things that came out, and I was more interested. Of course, they announced to us about Marlboro County being the number one again for unemployment, but I'm having to ask the Lord, help me stop focusing on the negative. Yes, we're at 7%. We're the highest in the state. We're 2.9% above Dillon, 2% above Marion County, 4%, about half between Chesterfield, Darlington, and Florence. They're all with the 3-point range, and we're at the 7-point range. But one of the things that came out, that looking at this report, this is January, these are January's numbers, and what it's saying is that we have 510 people that's unemployed in a total workforce of 7,273 people. and it is good that we focus on the fact that we do have 6,763 people working. But we know that with this report, when it says unemployed 500 people, those people after a while, they drop off the list. And probably we do have more people than that unemployed, but they keep the ones who are actively seeking for a job. So having that announcement, Mr. McNeil, is a blessing for Marlboro County. So it's always disturbing. You always go there, you're always at the bottom. You get really discouraged. But thank you. Hopefully that our citizens will benefit for some of those jobs. Because we have a tendency when companies come, and especially with the higher level jobs, they come, they bring their own crew. Most of them are out of town. We don't have any people who are working in those plants, and they get the mediocre jobs. So those are kinds of things. So I do appreciate that report on that. The second thing about the meeting last night, and we have Mr. Clyburn was there representing Marlboro County. But one of the things is about those funds that we got kind of a little hurt about the $10 million fund. But I can tell you that the city of Bennettsville have been doing some, work on my area, which is Firestone area. They've done some upgrading with sewer, and they have done great with that. But like I said, and it's in its closeout phase, but we didn't get it as a county, but that's still Marlboro County. Grants for them getting to take care of their dilapidated homes in the West Bennettsville area, which is also my district, but that's in the city limits. Unfortunately for us county government, people be asking us, why hadn't we done anything about to demolish the homes? We know that we can't because of our state. We're hoping that our state delegation will be pushing that, not just for Marlboro County, all of them have to push that. Dorchester County and I were the only ones to stand up in that meeting to talk about the way our community looked with those homes. So if more of our delegation, the state representatives, will push that, maybe we can get some things done and also can get some grants for those kinds of things. And the other thing that was pointed out in this project, I talked about the Firestone, the city still gonna have money to get some street lights and things like that, and we're not getting any. So hopefully we can start getting some grant money. Transportation came up, the Transportation Committee brought up some updates about projects that they're doing. I zoomed in on Marlboro County, and they're gonna be giving us some type information, because I requested that information, that we get that information, so we'll know where we are with some of those projects. But I just hope us being a part of this PD call is going to benefit Marlboro County. And I thought about you, sir. You know how aggravated you got with this? I was still aggravated, just like I was aggravated about this announcement stuff, but I was aggravated. But I thank God, I hope something come materialize from this. That's my report from PD call.
Okay.
I did want to mention, you talked about as far as the jobs and local, hiring local. And that's one thing we talked about that last company, Fairglow, and they're hiring a lot of local people when they do come in. They talked about that, and that's why we are looking to try to get some headway with DHEC so we can help them get their hiring. They're trying to do a hiring event here in Marlboro County to hire our people, and we're going to also invite them to the job fair. So some of the new industries will be hiring. Well, they all will be hiring local people. We just don't know how many, but they will be hiring local. And that's something that when we talk to them, when they're considering coming, that we always mention. It'd be really good if we could hire some people here in the community. And they know that. They know that that's one of our focus.
Especially with some of those top level jobs, because the people who live here are the ones who paying the taxes. And if the tax base goes up because people are getting good jobs and the money are coming in, we would do better. A better tax base means a better economy for us, and we can be on the rise again. So thank you so much for that.
What's the status on existing jobs here? Does anybody have any numbers on what's existing but not filled for the companies to have jobs available?
It's difficult to get that information from companies, like how many do you have? You know, it's a moving target for some of them, and they don't want to always divulge exactly how many. A lot of times they may feel like it's going to be, you know, something used in competition or whatever, but, we're gonna try to pinpoint that number. It's just not, it's not an easy target to find out for some of these companies. But we do have a considerable amount of jobs that are open now. If we filled all the jobs that were open now, that would be the equivalent of a good announcement. I mean, I know it's at least over, it's in the hundreds. I know that much for a fact, that we have industry in Marlboro County looking for employees. And so now the question becomes workforce development and other things like that.
Okay. Mr. Odom.
Well, I want to go on record. I think everybody tonight, tremendous crowd we had of people supporting the kids in McCall and Marlboro County, and I thank everybody that came out tonight. Probably, without a doubt, the biggest crowd I think we've ever had for a council meeting. I'd like to thank Mayor Garner, Mr. Garner, Councilman, Mr. Benjamin, Mr. Cummins, the council members from the town of McCall. They canceled their meeting tonight because of how important it was to be up here for these kids and stuff. And I think I'd like to thank each one of y'all for coming. The town clerk, Ms. Lynn, is chairman of the director of the McCall Mayfest. Glad to have you here. Just a great meeting, and just a tremendous amount of kids in here tonight. And that's what we like to see. You know, this is what it's all about, is building the future for them. And I think we got things going in the right direction. We want to see if we can work this thing out to get the park back in the town of McCall. And I know there seems to be a couple of little technicalities we're going to have to work through, but maybe we can work through them and make that park work for not only the kids in McCall, but all the kids in the county. That's it.
I do want to say, council will consider that, but in the meantime, I will make sure we reach out to those groups in McCall that want to utilize the park. And as long as we can get everyone on the same page as far as the procedures, we're going to make sure that park has never been closed to people. We just got to make sure that the right process is done in order to get the park, rent the park, reserve the park. So we are going to make sure we reach back out to everyone, especially the ones that were involved here, and make sure that process is done properly. And everyone's, in the meantime, everyone is satisfied with the usage of the park. But again, as I said, we have done some renovations there. I know that was a concern after the vandalism, but we've done that renovation, and all we're waiting on is the brick sign to be finished. Everything else is ready to go.
Another thing, while we're talking about the parks, and every one of us have seen it, that park's been vandalized several times, We really and truthfully need to look at cameras, at all the parks. We talked about Brightsville, the camera in the right place, somebody pulls out, and, liability, I think there's a lot of things to consider, not just the vandalism, but to protect the park, and then also liability from the standpoint of, like I said, the entrance at Brightsville is pretty bad. Probably need to have a camera on that entrance leaving it, So I think that's something we really need to look at, and getting cameras in these parks, because I've seen that park in McCall vandalized at least 3 times, and they take sledgehammers and break the urinals off the wall. Why do you do that? Why? What good does it do anybody to do something like that, So anyway, I appreciate it, Mr. Clymer.
All right.
I just want to say that, I appreciate what staff does behind the scenes, and it shows that sometimes you don't think nothing's going on, but they are working, and I don't want to take away from the announcements of these jobs. All those have problems, and we're gonna have them, but I'm really thankful for the jobs coming up and the people coming in, and it's been a long time coming, and I don't want to undermine that. I want, we appreciate it, and thank you for that.
Just want to thank all of the citizens and their children for coming and showing us what the future of Marlboro County can look like. As a person who played Marlboro County Rec, who won in Marlboro County Rec, who came back and coached and devoted time and money and resources to Marlboro County Rec, it really troubles me, that our rec is in the condition that it's in. I think our last administration centralized, our recreation program, and it really destroyed, our kids. And being able to play in their home cities, You know, it's and I really do think that we really need to take a hard look at decentralizing and going back to these local cities so we can really build, you know, Marlboro County from recreation build communities. And you know, I really want us to take a hard look at what we can do, not 2 years from now. I'm talking about, you know, next week, let's get to the drawing board. And because you have volunteers that are ready in these communities to take their recreation programs back to where it used to be and build their kids. And so I thank those parents for coming out and sharing and making themselves visible. And I hope it's not the last time that you all come out. You know, please be in our faces, be in our ears, because we're working on your behalf. And we want to make sure you hold us accountable for the things that we are doing and the things that we're not doing. So please, ma'am, please, sir, if you've been here today, come back again. Come back again. All of these things that we are announcing from economic development is to build a future for you and your children. So I'm pleased with the efforts of Mr. McNeil, Mr. Clyburn, and everybody on the county staff. This has been a long time coming, and I really do think that there's some good changes coming to Marlboro County. There's been some hard work. There's been some long nights. There's been some elevated voices, but all of it is for one goal, is to improve the lives of the citizens here in Marlboro County. And I really do think that we are on the right path of being able to secure, you know, a right now future and a long-term future for Marlboro County. So keep engaged, being engaged, my citizens. Keep being engaged. Don't care where you are at a part of the county. Keep being engaged with your council members. Keep being engaged with your city councilman. Keep being engaged with anybody that you see fit in order to improve the lives of the citizens here in Marlboro County.
As you know, we've met with the recreation committee, and we have talked about decentralizing the parks and recreation. We've talked about using all the fields. That's why we're fixing Brightsville Park, so they can have their T-ball practice there. That's why we're trying to make sure we can get C.W. Love Park where it needs to be, so they can have practice there. You know, Blenheim, we have that. And we're looking at all the different areas so we can decentralize. When I first got here, that's one of the things I talked to you about, was making sure that we put that in all the communities so that we can have rec in every community instead of kids having to travel all the way to Bennettsville to go to practice and that kind of stuff. So we hear you, and I know Mr. Stroman and Mr. Woods, we talked about the same thing in our committee meeting. We are looking to decentralize recreation because it's only fair. Everyone right across the county pays taxes. It's fair that everyone has somewhere in their community.
Just one last tidbit, Mr. McNeil, we did hear you in regards to your discussion about the hospital. You know, that's really, really big. Let's keep pushing that. Our citizens in Marlboro County deserve to have a hospital, and whatever we can do, whoever we need to call, whatever we need to contact, whatever meetings we need to go to, I think it's deserving a big push for us to look at bringing the hospital back to Marlboro County because our citizens deserve it.
And I'm glad to hear you say that. I did have recreation back area, you know, in each area back whenever I played and coached. I mean, you had home field advantage when you played in Bennettsville or played in Wallace or played in Clow or McCall. But that's what you had as a home field advantage. And you know, one of the good thing about our county is, you know, the volunteers kept those rec programs going for a long time. You know, when COVID hit, whatever, but you know, but back in our area, and whenever, I mean, Chairman Woods, when he was AD, I mean, we did, you know, we ran the whole program. Whoever practiced on each field, we took care of all that in Wallace within ourselves. So it wasn't a burden to the county staff or whatever. It's just whenever there was problems, that's when he heard about it. But other times it just ran and you made it work. And you know, you know, the people, they worked on the fields. I mean, they fixed dugouts, they painted. I mean, hard money, Chairman Woods, he made sure each individual town got a little bit if the people were working. And I think that would be a way to get back to it and, you know, kind of just take pride back into town, have home field advantage. I've already heard, you know, got stopped on the side of the road the other day, said, you know, a lot of people's wanting to play, but they can't drive to Bennettsville every day to practice. So, you know, if you could get, I mean, we just want them to play. We got fields all in every parts of our county, and so we want them to play. And I'm sure that if, you know, each individual, their recreation people in each, if we activate and get that board back activated pretty good, you know, we always had, each one of us had an appointment on it, and they kind of headed it up and seeded it. That way Mr. Campbell wouldn't have to decide who was on what field on what day. I mean, if you got somebody that can help it, that was a way to able to just take some pressure off somebody else and give somebody some time to be able to just make sure that everybody was still playing and somebody was out there all the time, because that's what we want. We want kids on the fields, and if each individual area kind of just went back to the areas you said, that would be I think that'd be the way to increase participation. As Mr. Wood said, somebody knows grandma and grandpa, they can bring them, and they might not know me, but they know, and that's a good way to get, try to get it back to where it used to be. And so that would be a good thing, I think, Mr. Gilmore.
Yeah, I just want to address this one thing, council. I know it was stated earlier that, I was called out personally about stopping the AAU team from playing on the fields. Let me just clarify that. There was stuff that went out online prior to anybody contacting our office or our Parks and Recreation, and practices and things were already scheduled. We have policy and procedure in place, and it must be followed. There's no way we can break the rules for one team and not the other. We spoke with Mr. Chase, the AAU coach, and let him know that if he complied with our regulations, we'd be glad to reach out to him. And so we got correspondences prior to him already announcing that there would be practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the McCall Field. The vandalism we spoke about, a part of the struggle in getting that complete was with the insurance. So we had to wait on all of go through the proper channels, policy and procedure to get those things done so the county's not liable. So there's a lot of things that go on kind of behind the scenes, and then the blunt of it is brought to you guys without kind of on the backdrop. So I just wanted to clarify that we would never, under no circumstances will we not permit kids to practice and play on fields. But also it's our job as executive staff of Marlboro County to make sure we keep the county legal, keep you guys from any of these things that could cause lawsuits. And so I want to make sure that you understand that it was not us just trying to stop this team from being able to play. It was making sure that the proper channels and the protocol was followed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Strowman?
First of all, thank you all for coming out, and I'm glad you clarified that, because I was going to ask you about that. That's a huge concern, and you are right. There are rules. Even if we gave the park back to McCall, you all would establish some rules of the use of that park, and people would have to follow. Just that's what we do as well. So I'm glad you clarified that. So. First of all, I don't know whether you all noticed, but we got a very good report today from the finance, from our audit, $300,000 that we did not have to use. That's huge, particularly since we raised taxes $190,000. That's huge. Maybe we can look at that and maybe try to come up with some kind of way to give a surplus back or a tax break back to the citizens or something, because we borrowed the $300,000 out of the fund balance, but we didn't need it. So maybe we can do something different, help the people sometime instead of just, biting at them. So that was a good report, I thought. Mayor Clio, thank you for coming once again. We support you. You're doing a great job down in Clio. You're keeping the citizens down there very satisfied. I always hear good reports about you. Good. And look at the town of McCall. Look at my good friends over there. I can truly say I feel that the town of McCall is in good shape. Good leadership. I see that. You guys are really doing a great job down there. Thank you for coming out. Hope you come back and let us know if we can be of service to you. And I'm sure we're going to try to work through some things and see what we can do and see what's what. So just keep up the good work. The Aquatic Center, that groundbreaking, it was a long time coming. Thank this council. You guys did a great job at making this come to fruition. I know some work that still has to be done, but thank you guys for buckling it down and getting it done. After that groundbreaking, we went out to the golf course and to the recreation, the banquet hall. Man, I don't know, if you all get a chance, please go out to the golf course and look at the renovations that has taken place in that banquet hall, and look at the golf course that's getting recognized all around the region. Is really doing good out there. But that's all I want to say. Mr. McNeil, thank you once again. Great job. You know, keep up that good work. Don't get aggravated. Just keep your hand on the plow. And I know it's slow sometimes. I know things happen. I want them to happen overnight. I would love to have those jobs here, but money is just as important as the job. You know, so just keep up the good work. That's it.
Mr. Lawson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to speak, and I want to thank the council members as we all spoke. One of the good things I see we're doing better without etiquette, not interrupting each other while we're speaking, so I do appreciate that. But I want to really say something that I'm very passionate about. This is Women History Month. So ladies, this is our month. We hear everything else, but this is our month. And let me tell you what I did for our month. I made a comment in a finance meeting that I'm feeling my girl power. Let me tell you what that means for me. I'm feeling very much, I want to be more assertive with what I do, because for me, as a woman, and I'm not trying to make a little song and dance show, and I know you're chuckling about the fact that I'm saying girl power, but many times women are on things and they're ignored or dismissed, their comments are dismissed, and those are the kind of things that I'm going to have to say that I'm really going to be stressing more to ensure that my voice is heard and my vote is important enough, my ideas are important enough, and I have just as much weight with my concerns as these gentlemen on this council. So I'm going to make sure that our employees know that. I want you to know that I'm here on this council. The other thing I want to say that I appreciate the fact that I'm serving District 4, a district that has been neglected for many, many years. And I'm going to say that I'm going to do everything I can to fight for District 4. I'm going to do everything I can. That's not a campaign speech for me. That's everything I can. When funding comes, I want to be able to know about it. When there's time for great announcements, I want to know about it, because I really want to invite some of my people from District 4. I want to make sure that I be in contact with my team leaders in my district, because I did hear you say about a countywide, about the cleanup that the city is sponsoring. I don't know whether the other towns plan to do a cleanup, and that's their business, but I want to say that I do believe in a countywide cleanup where all the towns are invited. Bennettsville is going to be for Bennettsville, and I applaud them for that. But I want the other cities to also be a part of the cleanups. But I'm not advertising that one. I'm just going to advertise that I can speak for District 4. For District 4, I'm going to ask that we look at Public Works. May I have the number for Public Works, please?
843-703-2112.
843-703. 2112, because I noticed that sometimes some people call me and say, well, can't even get Public Works, but that is the contact number.
That's my direct number.
That's your direct number. Thank you so much.
There's issues, we, as you guys know, we've had a new phone system put in, and there's major issues and concerns with that. And so it's not that the staff isn't answering the phones, that they're not getting the calls.
Okay.
I mean, and then when we try to call out, sometimes it's showing spam risk, so people don't answer us. So, I mean, if you get to me, I'll get with the executive assistant, and we'll get that out. We maybe have to look at getting her a phone so that we can kind of navigate through that. As you know, also, our IT guy is out right now, so there's several challenges that prohibit us from adequately doing our job.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up, and I really appreciate that, because my reason for saying that is because I'm going to be getting with people in my district to plan a countywide, a district-wide cleanup. I'm going to get their responses to see whether they want to look at the first week in April or the second week of April, sometime in April. Everybody's talking about the trash on these main corridors, and we know it's there, and it's there all over the county, and everybody say, oh, we got trash, trash, trash. And I know we're waiting on the inmate program, but for me and the people in my district, we're going to have to put, I'll put it like this. I don't ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do. So I'm gonna organize that to pick up some trash in District 4. And I'll be getting you that information as far as the people that information who needs it, because I'm gonna put flyers out so it can be a timely time that people can prepare for it, get their equipment ready, to be sure that I know the area so I can report, because I know that with those green bags, Public Works like to know where those bags are. Invite the people who want to leave their tires and all of that, because normally that's what the countywide cleanup push, but you can leave all of those things on the side. So I'm going to push that for the county, and I'm also going to encourage our citizens to contact Public Works about because the drainage that man talked about, the gentleman, we got drainage like that in District 4. Our ditches are clogged, they're green, they're clogged up.
So I can address that as well. As you know, there was some things that you guys should have discussed or will discuss in executive session, where at one time you guys dismantled the contract with DNR, who cleans the dams. You have to have permits to throw dynamite in those. DNR is the only people that can give that. Prior administration get away with the contract, so we came in and tried to get it cleaned up. We had DNR to send us a copy of a new legal binding document. It'll be for you guys to discuss and decide whether or not you want to fund that. And as soon as you do, we'll get it back and we can get that process started. As far as the gentleman that came, we addressed him several times. Our Roads and Bridges Department, the Public Works Department, they actually go out as a courtesy and replace drain towels in those trailer parks. That's not a mandate, it's actually a courtesy. And the other part of that is that the citizen has to be willing to spend $500 to buy the towel to be replaced, and that has been explained. Okay. So that's that on that.
And I thank you, but I'm just making those points about their drainage everywhere in the community.
Yeah,
everywhere in the
community.
community.
You have the problem.
And I'm gonna just finish what I need to finish, and then I'll recognize you, and I'll let the chairman recognize you. But anyway, I want the citizens to know that that number for Public Works is 843-703-2112. And for South Carolina DOT, because a lot of people listen and see this, and I'm making this clear because I can't get to their houses all the time. But for South Carolina DOT, I know that state roads have been neglected. I've been told, Ms. Lawson, you're calling up, talking about the roads in your district. Why don't you have the people call themselves? So I'm going to ask that people in District 4, I want you to call 843-479-4161. We have a problem with our raggedy roads. I know that they're not going to all get fixed, but I know there's a process for them to get on the list. And if enough people complain about their streets and their highways, something can and will be done. It could be put as a project. So I can't tell you it's going to happen overnight. I don't expect for it to happen overnight. But I made a promise to the people in my district that I'm going to do everything I can that they will be informed. And the next thing I want to tell you that I followed up with the Humane Society. A visit there. They have 60 dogs and 25 cats. That was as of last Thursday there. I do know that the two ladies there, I did meet them. They take the rescue animals all the way up to Massachusetts, New Jersey, and New York. Sometimes they're on the road 15 hours trying to get those dogs delivered there because they have a great program. And I want to recognize that. When I first thought about the animal shelter, it's in my district. So I'm concerned too because I was wondering how many staff people was there. I saw them cleaning those kennels and making sure everything was done properly there. But when I saw the women's having to do so much of that heavy work, it disturbed me. But as I said, we have an animal control officer. And people talking about their dogs. I hope that y'all can get with him to be sure that that things like that are taking place because they're still complaining. So please get with that director, sir, and maybe with the animal control officer too. Again, I understand that y'all did go out there the next day after this meeting, but I do know that there's a process that has been pushed aside now about the intake of an animal. The next thing I want to say is, Mr. Odom, we had some ladies come to us last year about the courthouse, maybe having some type of picnic area there. They're still talking about that. It's spring now. I would like for us to, I know that it probably means donating the park benches or picnic benches, but someone please follow up. I know that they're still interested in that. I told them I could not make any promises, I can just bring it up again. And they want an area to have a nice meal outside when they want to on those pretty days. So someone please follow up with that. And I want to thank Judge McCoy, Deputy Probate Patricia Bundy, Christy Deese of Wells Fargo Bank, and Ida Cook of First Financial, where they provided us with details of the community, with details on how to avoid your property from probate. They did a great job. About 43 people were in attendance. I want a special thanks to the library staff for all that they did to help set up and get this organized. I also want to remind us too, I just do this because it's not just for the county council, but for any elected official, that we do need to make sure that we've gotten our statement of economic interest done. And then like to again encourage the citizens of Marlboro County, those who plan and who desire to serve Marlboro County in such a way that you feel like you are capable and able to take on that staff of Marlboro, the status that will come, not necessarily the status, but sometimes the misery and the pain. But in all that, sometimes you do it because you want to be a servant leader for your county and your city. I know that's why all of us feel when we step out there, that's what we want to do. So the filing date open on March 16th. It's on a Saturday. It's going to be open from 12 to 5 and ends on April the 1st. So anybody who wants to file, I encourage you. I'm going to encourage women, please file, please file. And then most of all, I do thank each and every one of you. I know that this is your regular meeting because I attend McCall meetings. I try to attend Clio meetings, so I try to attend other cities and council meetings. But I do want to say it was good to see all of you here. I thank you so very much, each and every one of you, for being here. And thank you, gentlemen, for understanding why I'm going to have to use my girl power. Every time I come to a meeting, I'm going to have my little pen on about girl power. And please don't take that as a joke, because it's not a meeting to threaten anybody with flexing my muscles to you. I want to flip you, but I'll leave you alone. But I am going to use my girl power. So thank you so much. Mr. Chair, I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Misley.
Okay. I'd like to thank Mayor Gardner for bringing the council over, and it's great having y'all show up here and represent your town. And we hear you, and I think the way we get things done in these towns, Clive being one of them also, is just talking. And I think we're on the right track. But you're always welcome here. My office is always open to you, especially anybody in District 3 in my district. I got open door policy. I'd also like to commend staff for the great groundbreaking, and Tony McNeil for the economic development process we're making, and look forward to tomorrow, and keep up the good work. That's all I've got to say. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir.
One thing.
Go ahead.
Mr. Clyburn, and I guess Ms. Sumner, if, I know at one time, whenever we had a new hire, you sent an email out, at least we could recognize a face or knew that somebody was here, so we see them around the county. I mean, if we could do that, that'd probably be good. I know we've made a couple new hires in I guess the last 4 months, but if we could get, I know we did send emails out at one time whenever we hired somebody new, that will let at least let council members know that whenever we see somebody, we know that we're at least part of the staff.
I thank you for bringing that up too, because I did too. I don't get an email on that.
Okay. I know we got executive meeting, I'll make my, comments short. Month of January, we had, a citizen in Clio to pass away, and the wife was very disturbed, and she wanted, we went out, I went by there and talked to her, and she wanted to talk to, the EMS man. And I called Calvin, and Calvin met me, and we went out there. Unfortunately, the lady she wasn't there, but that day I talked to her, she was very upset, confused, yeah, anyway, but Kevin did, I thank Kevin, I want to thank Kevin for coming out. He didn't hesitate. He said, man, I'd be glad to go out there and talk to us, talk about our procedure, what we did, what we didn't do, and so forth, so on. But Ms. Denise, is she listening? We made every effort, and I thank Kevin for taking time out of his schedule to go out there to take care of this lady. Teamwork made the dream work. That's something that we know. For those who know me and know my background, I was a recreation man from top to bottom. Even Anthony Chavis, he played for me when he was 8 years old on the coach pitch. You know, it's good to see him now giving back to the community. A lot of times when you talk about vandalism, Claudio Park, Bennett Park used to be broken in so much that we even have Marlboro water to come out and put a water pump out. After we put a water pump, they'll steal it. So we had to go to county water. One thing that we have a tendency of saying, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to be a snitch. But if we see kids tearing up our property and we don't say nothing, we just a better day off. We can't, I mean, yeah, you're right, Mr. Councilman Odom. Why would a kid take a sledgehammer and break a urinal? Why would somebody burn a car at Bennett Park? A whole car, right in the middle of the yard, torch. So we know people see these things. But you have to, I ain't no snitch, I ain't getting involved. Hey, anonymous call. I see so-and-so, so-and-so. You know, we gotta continue to, we can't be wanting to invest money knowing that somebody gonna tear it up and you see it and you don't say nothing. You know, that's, you know, we are not built for that. Your kids gonna be kids, we know that. But until we slap them on the hand and take care of our own property that county money, private money is being spent on, but we don't say nothing because the boy 12 years old, girl 12 years old, 10 years old, whatever the case it is. You know, if we're afraid of kids, we're ashamed to be parents, grown ups. We're afraid of kids. McCall, Claudio, you know, it take all of us to be together. Thank y'all for coming out, like everybody said, you know. I think it was April Fest. It went to Mayfest now? You know y'all went April Fest. Claudio had Mayfest now, but we'll give it back to you. You know, it's always been April Fest, McCall. I thought it was April Fest. Is Mayfest now? It ain't been always been Mayfest, because we had May Day in Claudio. When is Mayfest?
May 4th.
May 4th? Okay. All right. That might have been for y'all time. Y'all young, y'all real young, y'all young people.
Will y'all send us some county email so we can, your dates when you're having these events, so we can get them in our email too? Can y'all do that, please? Thank you.
Anyway, like I said, Ms. McNeil, continue doing the hard work and so the rest of the staff, and Susan, the newspaper and everything. We thank y'all for coming out. It been a long meeting. We think I go to executive session. So, with that being said, can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Motion made and second. Thank y'all.
I didn't know which way everybody was going, so.
Okay, we was out of executive, meeting, no votes were taken. Jason Steen, made a motion, and Verge seconded the motion, come out of executive session. Okay, as, we done had our, council, requests, we know about the workshop, on 2 workshops, so on the 24th, we have, get in, we can do the things that we want to talk about, from policy to, current, situation we got going on in the county. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Can I get a second? All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. We are adjourned. Yeah. So what?